Kind of crazy what the showrunners and the writers have put Juliette through. I mean, from waking up from a coma and not remembering the love of her life and just having this big like hole in her memory, and then she starts lusting after Renard, who she really doesn't really know, and then when Rosalie finally finds a cure, then I basically start losing my mind, and it's sort of like this crazy puzzle piece. I always thought of it like she wakes up from the coma and there's just pieces of this puzzle everywhere, and she's slowly starting to put it back together. But then there's, you know, it's totally 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing for her this entire season. But by the end there is some resolution, and, you know, it's not going to be easy going forward because she's finally introduced to the Vesson world. But she has a lot of things going for her that, you know, I know the fans kind of lovingly refer to it as the Scooby Gang, and I think you're going to see, you know, everybody has, you know, you have Yvette, you have Rosalie who's good with concoctions, you have Nick who's the Grimm, you have Monroe who's Monroe. So I think it'll be really fun going forward.
The Scooby Gang does not have that kind of hot make-out scene that you and Sasha had. So.
No, that was insane. That scene took 8.5 hours to shoot, and we had a stunt coordinator and hours of rehearsal the day before, and we just had fun beating each other up. I mean...
Okay, I've never heard of needing a stunt coordinator for a make-out scene. You gotta explain that.
You know, it's really funny. When I read the script, I thought... Because we have some pranksters on set. I thought it was a prank. I totally did not believe it. Like, on paper, you know, the final scene was chopped up a lot. Right. On paper, it was the most ridiculous scene I had ever read. And I was like, that's so funny, this joke. And then Sasha read it, and he thought it was a joke, too. And then we asked someone, and they were like, no, you're doing that. So it was even more epic than what you eventually saw, just because of the nature of, you know, having to... We went over on that episode, so they had to trim it up.
I was just reading this list of the people you should be following on Twitter that you're probably not, and you're number 2 on the list. Did you know that?
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm very active on Twitter. I love engaging with the fans. I try to post a lot of pictures of set. I post a lot of pictures of my dog Henry on Twitter and Instagram, and I just think it's fun. I mean, we live and die by our fans, and I really appreciate them, and you know, whenever I'm not shooting on a Friday night, I try to live tweet with them, at least on the West Coast, because I don't get the East Coast feed.
That's nice, but you're not going to do a shirtless rage campaign for yourself then?
I don't know about a shirtless rage campaign for myself, but I will start one for every man on the show, if that's what they want.
Sasha has his. How is it going? I mean, you're probably the closest to have a shirtless rage with Sasha than any other actor, correct?
Yes, well, it was fun when we were shooting that scene in episode 13. He had a shirt that was a prop shirt, so that it was easy for me to just rip it open, and buttons were flying. It was so funny, just the sound of all these buttons hitting the floor.
It was fun.
But I had a prop shirt too, because he rips my shirt, and my boobs kind of were, you know, popped out as much as they will.
Alright, so I keep getting the sense that this show could move, because it's clear that Nick can't stay in Portland to be safe, or he might have to have this police force that works after hours. What's your sense of where it's going to head from here?
I think that as far as the legends and fairy tales are concerned, it's going to get a little bit of an international flair, but yeah. I doubt we will ever move from Portland as a home base. We love it here. Portland is very much a character on the show. You really can't find this kind of scenery anywhere else. It's really beautiful. The city has been good to us, and I hope we've been good to them, so I can't imagine that it would ever stop being our home base.
So you have a new movie coming out with David Gentoli. Are you going to have to leave here and start doing publicity for that?
Actually, we wrap next Friday, so by the time we wrap and go on hiatus, I'll already be done working, and that movie called Carolyn and Jackie comes out in LA and New York, so it's a limited release in the theaters, but also video on demand on May 3rd.
Oh, nice.
And then I have a huge movie called Parkland coming out in November, and some of the other cast was Paul Giamatti, Billy Bob Thornton, Marcia Gay Harden, Jackie Weaver, Jackie Earle Haley, Zac Efron.
Wow.
Really just such an extraordinary cast, and it's being released in November to coincide with the 50th anniversary of JFK's assassination.
That's so awesome. So now for this quick break that you have coming up, what do you plan to do? You're going to travel a little bit?
yeah, I'm going to travel a little bit, and, you know, it's hard to do a lot of promotion for the show being up in Portland. So now that I'm going to be in LA for a solid amount of time, I think it'll be good to do some press and stuff and promote our return.
All right, Bitsie, it's so good to catch up with you again.
You too.